Hey everyone, my name's Eric Davidson. I'm the executive director here at Luce Center for the Arts, and today we're on with Randy from Almost Queen. Randy, welcome.
Hi, Eric. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited. We're like finally able to get Almost Queen back. Our community out here and patrons have been asking nonstop when you guys were coming back. So we're delighted
That's
to get you back in the space.
awesome. We're excited to come back.
So we do this cool little interview series that you've luckily and thankfully said yes to. And it just helps the audience get to know you a little bit more, get to know the band. They, of course, love you already, but this is just gonna to get them to love you even more.
Okay. We hope.
Yeah. For fans who have never seen Almost Queen before, how would you describe the show in one sentence?
Energetic for sure. It's one thing we've always had was an energy that never had to be spoken about in the band. So it's never like hey guys, there's only 100 people out there. Let's go out and get not. This is the one band that I played in my whole life, and I've toured for 30 years. There's just the one band that doesn't matter what barricade you put in front. We're just gonna come in and plow through it. So
Yeah.
it's a very exciting
It's
show.
definitely a fun show, that's for sure. Now, Queen's music has stood the test of time. Why do you think these songs still connect so strongly with audiences today?
I mean, the caliber of songs are just ridiculous. This is a two part. Back in the 70s and 60s, 70s, you had like unbelievable songwriting going on. Where in the 80s and 90s, it started to turn into these three chord, you know, two verses worth of lyrics, just very minimal stuff. And turn on your radio, you'll hear what I'm talking about. But there's just these epic songs. I mean, Bohemian and We Are the Champions, Somebody to Love, like just all these. And you have four writers in Queen, which is unheard of these days. I guess back in the 60s and 70s, you got into a band because Jimmy down the block played drums and Phil across town played, and you all came together, and maybe you had musical, different tastes and stuff. So you all brought different tastes to the band, and that's the whole thing with Queen. Each one of them have top 10 hits, so and you can hear the songwriting, the difference between John Deacon and Roger Taylor, but everybody bringing so much to the plate, has so much dynamics in their music that there's something for everyone in Queen. So if anybody just throws on a Queen record, they're all going to go, oh, I like that song, or oh, I
Right.
like that song, or I like this album, or whatever. But that's pretty much the difference these days with bands.
I'm definitely not one to knock music today because I think all music is music and, things change. But we look back to that time and you had to make music. It
Yeah,
was, how do we accomplish this sound? It wasn't a simple, click on a keyboard or something like that to make these really cool effects that we had never heard before. And Queen brought a lot of those out for the first time.
very much. And, in the 50s, but mainly in the 60s, you had a lot of experimentation. And obviously, the Beatles, they are the cake that everyone iced. You know, and the misconception with the Beatles is people just go, oh, if it wasn't them, it'd be someone else. You don't understand what that band did. They brought their own songs, they recorded them, played them live, right? And that was unheard of that day. So in the 60s, you had it started changing. And then you get in bands, late 60s, early 70s, like Led Zeppelin, these monster bands writing monster songs. And granted, after 30, 40, 50 years, those ideas are taken, and whatever you have left is kind of what you have left. It's very hard to be an original band these days and get a sound that, reads to people.
It hasn't been done before, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think Nirvana was the last band to knock out those funky chord progressions that nobody used before, and it started a whole scene or whatever, but still waiting for the next scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do people that come to a show like this not realize about how difficult it is to recreate Queen's sound live?
Yeah. I mean, the music's one thing. It's pretty difficult. It's not your standard, like, again, comparing to the Beatles, those earlier hits, very, like, kind of simple to play, amazing songs. I'm not knocking them. But then you get, like we had to lock ourselves in a room to, like, for a couple months just to get one vocal pattern down. And it
Wow.
was, there's a lot of vocals going on. You have four-part harmonies everywhere. That's the thing with Almost Queen, is we have four singers in the band, and we're able to portray that live. Like even Queen didn't have four strong singers live,
Right.
you know, so that it it's the most difficult band I've ever been in my whole life for sure.
So obviously that sets almost Queen apart from other Queen tribute bands. What else? What's the signature stuff that makes your band stand out?
I think every band has, you know, their little idiosyncrasies and stuff, and it's what makes them do. Like any band, you can write, here's a song, you play it. Okay, it sounds like that. Then you take the same song and you put it to another band, sounds a little different, or and I guess that's really the only difference. Everyone who's in a Queen band, the one goal is to play the songs you hear them on the radio, the way you hear them,
Or the
and
way that they were done live, right?
that's the choice, right? And Queen knew that there was just some songs that was very hard to pull off live. So we have some live versions in our set, but we really stressed and tried to underline to do the studio versions. They're the ones that people hear on the radio. They're the ones that they
Yeah.
know. Where Queen might change some stuff live, and we do that. I could see the people going, "Oh, what is this part?" Or
Mm.
"Why are they going here?" or something like that. So the goal is to do the radio hits, and I'm sure that's the goal with every Queen tribute band. But like I said, there's little subtle things about the way people do things that just make it a little bit different.
What's the one song that consistently gets the biggest crowd reaction?
I'm not going to lie. I mean, everyone's waiting for Bohemian for sure. Avid fans are waiting for it, but people maybe just saw the movie or something,
Mhm.
new to it. They're the ones we know them because they scream "Play Mama," so we know that they're new fans, so whatever. Um, but I would have to say it's Bohemian.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just is.
So Loose Center for the Arts is just under 1,000 seats. What's it like performing this music in an intimate theater setting like Loose Center versus these large venues?
The barrier, right? We're the band, you're the audience. We come out on stage, there's this little invisible barrier, right? It's a tennis match. We're going to play tennis. We're going to come out, we're going to feed you some energy, and you're going
Yeah.
to hit the ball back. And if you hit the ball back, we can volley all night long, and that's the case in any gig. But and when it's a little bit smaller, it's a little bit easier to reach people. They're kind of right there where I've done shows where there's been tens of thousands of people, and beyond some point it just becomes like a Van Gogh painting, right?
Just dots.
Yeah, I just can't really tell. So when it's intimate, you can speak to the person in the back room.
Yeah.
So now everyone is involved.
Yeah, and there isn't a seat that's further than 95 feet from the stage. So
Perfect.
it's like you're all there isn't a bad seat in the house.
Right, right, right.
If someone was on the fence about coming to see the show, what's something that you would say to them?
Well, if you've seen Queen perform live before, if you were lucky to see Queen, it is a chance to revisit, you know, what Queen did live. And if you've never seen Queen, I'm not
It's
saying
also a chance to see them live.
it's a chance to experience what that live show was really about. And like I said, we bring energy. Queen brought the greatest energy to all these live concerts and stuff. And, there's a lot of people who maybe have come to our show that, I only know like two songs. And I just go, no, you don't. Trust me. Watch.
They don't realize it until they're there, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, I can sing this song and this one and this one." Yeah,
I didn't know You're My Best Friend was Queen. Yeah. Yeah.
right.
Written
Exactly.
by the bass player. Right,
Yep.
exactly. There's all these songs. So after the show, I'll see them and they'd be like, oh my God, I knew Crazy Little Thing. I knew Somebody to Love. I knew Another One Bites the Dust. I knew Killer Queen. It just goes on and on. A 90-minute set for us, there's like this borderline on 90 minutes. Like if we were to do a 75-minute set, I have the problem of omitting a
Mm,
single or two. There's just 90 minutes, we'll throw in like a deep cut here and a deep cut there, and that's for the fans that have been with Queen since the
right.
70s and 80s and stuff, and of course for us as well, because we like to keep it,
Those are
I,
probably the fun ones.
it always is. I mean, I've always been a fan and I love all the deep cuts, but we're
And
here to.
what personally drew you to Queen's music?
Oh, so I was in kindergarten, and I've said this story before, but a neighbor around the block from me used to just play records, you know, for all the kids on the block. And one day he played "Tie Your Mother Down," and I must have froze because I remember him going, "Oh, you like this?" So I must have reacted, and he goes, "Hold on," and he switched records and he threw on Bohemian, and I was 5, bordering 6 years old, and was just done. I think I was like, I want to do that. I want to do that. And I remember walking home singing Tie Your Mother Down. And when I got into my house, my mom got really mad at me because she's like, what is Tie Your Mother Down? So she didn't know, but that started it for me when I was like 5, 6 years old. And Queen was just one of my favorite bands growing up. I mean, every day in high school, I watched the videotapes of the Magic years every day. I mean, I was and have always been a Queen nut. So,
Core memory for sure.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You've lived this amazing touring life.
Mm.
What is your favorite Queen song that's stuck with you all these years that fans might not expect?
Oh, I mean, I get pretty deep. I love, I started out with Sheer Heart Attack. That was my favorite record growing up. And then by late teens, I tried Queen 2 again and was just leveled. I couldn't. So things like the Fairy Fellas Master Stroke is like an unbelievable song. One that we would not be able to perform live. It's so intricate, and that's definitely a studio. March of the Black Queen is on that album as well. So like I can get really deep with the Queen songs. And I'm a fan. Like, there was a time I listened to Hot Space, which is not their most favored album, I guess you could say. But Action This Day I love. So I love a lot of the quirky stuffs. But live, when we play our set, the 2 songs that still just give me chills is Radio Gaga and Under Pressure.
Yeah, those are definitely fun. And the whole crowd, I know from last time that we had you, whole crowd gets into it.
Yeah,
Entire
it's good we have a little art, a little audience participation, not so much where,
Yeah, it's not disruptive to other patrons,
right,
but
right. You're not at a gym doing like, some kind of like, spin class or anything like that. But, we want you to clap along and feel
yes,
free to sing along and enjoy it. The night is yours as well.
yes, it is.
Yeah.
Now we touched on this a little bit before, but how close do you stay to the original sound versus letting yourselves bring something of your own to the show?
Yeah, we try not to bring our own thing. It's was never up to us to, go, oh, I think this would sound better. I mean, there's a reason, you know, Queen sold hundreds of millions of records or whatever. So,
Yeah,
you
right.
try to, yeah, you try to keep it, to the studio versions. And there might be some little tiny things you do that live comes across a little bit better, or a
Mm.
little bit fuller, with, you know, we're up against a 48 track recording, where they're layering all this stuff on there and we're just 4 guys, so
Right.
maybe if I play a bass chord behind something, it fills it up a little bit. And, if Steve uses an echo pedal, and it gives it that little fullness, everybody's trying to, play at 11 instead of 10, if you know what
Right.
I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. For the fans that grew up with Queen, what do you hope that they walk away saying?
Um, I mean, I hope they enjoy it. Um, I hope they understand that we're in the same boat. A bunch of us on stage, we're just as big fans as some of the people that come see us. And and if we weren't on stage, we'd probably be in the crowd as well.
That's
Um,
cool. Yeah.
but I'm hoping they have a smile on their face. And we're not. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, we're not going to be Queen. We're not. That's why the band is called Almost Queen. We knew from day one there'll never be another Freddie. We get these comments a lot on social media and stuff. And, we're fully aware that no one can replace Freddie and no one can replace Roger and Brian. And, that no one can replace anybody. We're here to just tip the hat, try to play the songs as spot on as we possibly can, and just hope that everybody enjoys it and has a smile as they're walking out.
We're sure they will.
I hope so.
So before the show, this is the part that our people love the most. What's the pre-show ritual or tradition that the band has before taking the stage?
Boy, I gotta say, there really isn't a big ritual. It never really has been. We've been together. This year is going to be 22 years. This coming month, I think, is 22 years. There really isn't like any kind of like a group circle and put your hand in and we're going to high five. There really never kind of has been that. I think for a couple of us, it's grab that last beer or glass of champagne before we get on
Yes,
stage. That's pretty much
absolutely.
it.
Yeah. Well, anything else that the audience should know before they come to see Almost Queen on May 15th?
We appreciate you wearing mustaches, even if you're a girl. We love that. We love anybody who's got a white tank top on, the yellow jacket, anybody who's just as excited to come to the show as we are. We're all here to just have a good, fun time. So don't be afraid to clap along or sing, or if you stand up, don't feel bad. The people behind you will just stand up as well.
Yeah, in at Loose Center, we're pretty fortunate that the outside section of our seating is there for dancing. So
Yeah,
if
and
you're in a seat, you want to get up and dance, those far outside edges are perfect for you.
that's perfect because we need dancers. Again,
Yes,
we're playing tennis, and you need to hit the ball back. That's all we ask.
100%. Well, Randy, thank you so much. We're looking forward to having you and Almost Queen here on May 15th, and we'll see you soon.
Can't wait. Thanks so much, Eric.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye bye.